started with a spark. The spark was what? Assassination of Archduke Ferdinand. And to understand a little bit about that, he was visiting Bosnia, or Sarajevo. And they were mad at them because they believed that they were going to take it over and keep control over it, and they, as a nationalist movement, wanted that land for themselves. There was a Bosnian Serb, Gavrilo Princip, member of the Black Hand. He is the one that assassinated the Archduke. There were 7 of them there lined up to kill him, and he was the one that does so. So that's a spark. Now, that doesn't cause a war yet. Then there was an ultimatum given. An ultimatum was given from Austria-Hungary to Serbia. They had 48 hours that they had to respond. They responded to most of the things that they had on there, not all of them. And as a result, war begins 48 hours later. Now the war is just Austria-Hungary versus Serbia. Still not a world war. So if you're looking up here, you now got Russia is the first country to mobilize because of Pan-Slavism. Pan-Slavism is all the Slavic people sticking together, a nationalism thing. They were the ones that backed them up. And so as a result, Germany declares war on Russia, gives a blank check to Austria-Hungary saying do what you have to do. And then I listed a whole bunch of things here of reasons why they were willing to get more involved in this war. Hatred of France because of the Franco-Prussian War in the past, because of land that had been taken from them. Militarism, imperialism, nationalism, economic competition. I'll start with that. The militarism was an arms buildup between nations. This arms buildup led to some issues. Obviously there was tensions. There was people were ready to go. As a nationalist, you believe that your country is great. You believe that you guys have all the strength, you have all the ability, and you're going to beat everybody. And with that said, gives them reason to go. Now they also had, if you're over by Alec over there, he's got Africa right next to him. You got Southeast Asia. Those are all nations that they've split up and carved up in the late 1800s because of imperialism or spheres of influence, gaining control over a nation economically, politically, socially, in any way possible, which they have done. So there's competition between these nations as well. There's an arms buildup, navy buildup. Yes?
Who gave who the blank check?
Germany gives Austria-Hungary the blank check.
Okay.
Germany, blank check to Austria-Hungary. In other words, saying, remember we talked about the whole blank check thing, but we will support you in every way possible. Now, Germany had a plan. Germany had a plan that if we ever get in a war like this, and they saw it was coming, if we ever get in a war like this, we have what's called the Schlieffen Plan. The Schlieffen Plan was the idea that they don't want to fight on 2 fronts. They don't want to be on the eastern and the western fronts fighting. So their plan was, if we ever go to war, we will quickly attack via Belgium to get to France. And if you remember way back when I was originally talking, I said the Maginot Line was the line between France and Germany, which was the most heavily fortified line. So they went through Belgium. As a result, Great Britain gets involved because they have an alliance with Belgium. And now all of a sudden you've got Austria-Hungary and Germany, Serbia, Russia, France, and Britain. And then, of course, the Ottoman Empire had an alliance with Austria-Hungary. And there was a lot of the same issues of nationalism going in, yeah.
So Germany attacked France through Belgium?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And that brought Britain in. Obviously it brought France in too because they got attacked.
Britain was with Belgium?
Britain was with Belgium, correct. That's where I got Belgium tied here to Britain in the picture. So you got France, alliance with Russia, but as well had lots of hatred between them and Germany from the Franco-Prussian War. Ottoman Empire, Italy, 1914 when the war begins, they're still in on this side, but by 1915 they switch sides. And then in 1917 there's reasons, yes sir?
Did Belgium actually fight in the war? Or
Not really. I mean it was like a fly
Wait,
through.
how did Italy join?
I mean, it's kind of like when you annex a nation. Annexation means you're taking over a nation without fighting because they realize they're going to lose. So rather than send all these people to fight and die, they just go, okay. you know, so it was basically a 2-day march through Belgium. So, that's some, yeah. Italy's involved in alliance, and they started on this side, kind of joining the side that they thought was going to win, and then they thought it was the other side, so they switched sides. But so that leads us to the United States in 1917, and the question was, and this is a potential another question, is why does the U.S. get involved in the war? And if you remember the picture you guys took, I had drawn 4 things up. Now I added one at the bottom saying protect investments, but that was the whole idea of, A, we're neutral. We're going to provide both sides with military arms. We're going to make as much money as we possibly can, but it was easier to deliver goods to France and Britain because they were closer to us. So you got that going on. And Germany realizes it, and they've got the U-boats or the submarines, and so they start sinking ships. You know, the Lusitania and the Sussex and the Arabic and these other ships that are carrying American passengers that we get pretty upset about. Yeah.
So we were trying to help other countries because we didn't want to like be against them, and then
We're neutral.
So then Germany attacked like our ships.
They were, because our ships were supplying their enemy, and so no one would rightfully let their enemy get the goods they needed to fight a war. So they sunk the ships. So if you want to fast forward a little bit, our way of protecting our ships was a system called the convoy system. It was smaller ships that surrounded the bigger delivery ships, and so they would drop depth charges around after the subs and so forth, which was a pretty effective way of protecting supplies. But sinking of ships, us trying to make a lot of money. You got the Zimmerman telegram, which was a note to Mexico asking them to join the war. Was a good reason why we would be not on their side. It was, some believed it was British propaganda or their way of swaying things. And the biggest thing that makes us join the war is the Bolshevik Revolution. This was Russia dropping out of the war. Now there's no longer 2 fronts fighting.